It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer Fantasy, it's easy to learn the rules. Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington Show.
Welcome one and all, it's time to yet another spicy episode. Ongoing saga, The Andy and Rem Show, episode 172. And anyone playing the Remington's blinds, open or closed, at home, as I can see Colin is. Let's find out who is correct. There we go, you can plainly see, plain as night, that Remington's blinds are in fact or up this week.
The blinds are up, baby, because I don't know, because I haven't been in this room for a few hours. Probably I forgot to close them. But look, it's dark outside. What's happening? We're on a bit later tonight, aren't we? So more Americans can watch us.
I would anticipate that, yes. So, obviously, first of all, before we get to anything else, what is going on? Your hair.
My hair has been lovingly cornrowed by my wife. Sorry, Colin, you were wrong this time. But, you know, you were right most of the time. Yeah, it feels good. I've got a big gig on Thursday. I'm performing with UB40 up in Blackpool. This very posh gig. It's my first concert for 18 months, so I'm going to be busy rehearsing tomorrow, but I should have time for a battle report with you in the morning, Andy.
Yes,
so we'll
I
get
can
that
reveal
recorded
right now that at 11 AM UK time tomorrow morning, Age of Sigmar battle report. So for anyone who's not working at that time, grade A viewing material for you. For anyone who is working or otherwise unable to watch, of course, you'll be able to watch later. So it's no huge loss if you don't watch the battle reports live. Okay, shall we dive into everything we've got to go through? Quite a few different spicy topics.
Amazing, Andy. I have some news for you when we finish the normal news.
What?
But two bits of news. The first is obviously Warhammer Plus. You've got it on your screen there. It's released tomorrow. Now I tried to subscribe. I tried to subscribe to it, but I don't think you can until it's released.
Yes,
so
I've
subscribed to the mailing list.
I've been searching for the app. I've been searching for a website, like a web portal for Warhammer Plus, and apparently it doesn't exist yet. So you can't like sign up and sort out all your payment. You have to wait until tomorrow, apparently. So
could I sign up for it and then give you my login details? Would that work? You can use it too.
I don't know what the sharing protocol is for Warhammer Plus, because obviously Netflix being the main one that people share around, and you're allowed something like 5 accounts to share the same one, aren't you? So I don't know whether Warhammer Plus would have the same kind of situation or not.
Question.
But I am actually strongly considering signing up tomorrow.
Me too.
Not just for the content, but also for the journalistic reasons as well. So we can dive in there and actually analyse it and give informed opinions on this show for a change. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
I think it's quite good. I watched the free cartoon that you got, or the thing, is it Hammer and Bolter, and it was quite enjoyable, really.
You're looking forward to more of that then?
Well, that was a bit kind of a little bit childish. It was aimed for younger people, maybe, but they've got other stuff that looks a lot more sort of grown up. It's just an ingenious thing, really. What could possibly go wrong? I think this is a massive thing for the community and Warhammer, and it's going to get more people into the world, really. Because I don't know, me and you were not really into 40k. This might get me into 40k, right?
It could well do, because the background and the lore, the universe, is the thing that grabs a lot of people. So if you're immersing yourself in this format that doesn't require the concentration of purchasing, sitting down and reading a book, much more casual entertainment and
Question
a
for
bit
you:
of
Does it
animation, isn't it? I think it could grab more casual eyeballs.
will it replace White Dwarf?
I don't think it'll replace White Dwarf, but they do have a White Dwarf back catalogue.
For the year, I
It doesn't
see.
go all the way back at this stage, but they've said that might change at some point or added. But you can see everything that's featured here.
Yeah, the app's good, isn't it? So you could have your War Scroll builder, an official one, which is kind of cool because I've been using a different one, which was great as well. The
Exclusive
miniature,
Warhammer TV stuff, miniature.
yeah, the miniature you don't get until the very end of the first year, by the way, in case
Yes.
you're wondering.
That is true. But event VIP access, which presumably we won't need because we will already be legally entitled to that due to our community VIP status.
As AAA listers, yes, but this way you can. It's a bit more official, isn't it, Andy? You can actually waive the Warhammer Plus VIP thing and actually, maybe you won't be recognised, but
You
they'll
don't have
let
to
you
have
in.
you don't have to have the 10-minute argument that we usually get into with the "Do you know who I am?" business. We can just flash the Warhammer Plus badge, just get waved straight.
Now, David Kitely, hello, mate. Hope you weren't watching the football yesterday. He says they should have put a couple of shows on Netflix to try and bring more people in, which is interesting, really. Yeah. Does this mean that we won't see Warhammer content on other streaming platforms? Isn't this going to
Probably.
be? Could this end up being like a cliquey thing? You know?
Well, I thought it could have been useful for them to have like series one of, say, Hammer and Bolter as an example, on a Netflix, something that's very widely viewable in people's homes. There's a lot of subscribers to that service, and then once the second series is going to come out, you then move it to your own platform. But who knows how complicated that would be? But it seems like they want to do this now. They don't want to wait. Be something in the air at the moment that's encouraging them to plunge at this precise moment. I think there's something in the world economy right now.
Well, think about it. I mean, this is like, I don't know, Warhammer TV. They've already got the studio. They've already been making content already for a couple of years now, right? So just making more exclusive content. The app was already running. There's a big crackdown on people doing independent animations and things Warhammer related, but what if they brought them into the fold and made them official? So that could work that way, couldn't it? Rather than them being independent, you could say, "What make your animations, do that, and we'll show it on Warhammer TV, and we'll give you a cut."
I'd like to believe that they do have some people that maybe previously worked on fan animations, working for stuff, sharing that somewhere, but not the more recent ones that were making scandal. But what do you think about the price point? £5 a month. I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, it depends how much you're going to use it. I mean, I signed up to Disney Plus, and I'm going to cancel that. Cancel it because I've watched The Mandalorian. I've seen everything else, right? So why am I even using it? So I'm basically replacing it.
I think looking at that price, there are people that would pay £5 per month just for the access to the apps. I think it's safe to say. If you're playing a lot of games, building lists, and you want to have all the rules at your fingertips, that wouldn't even seem a ridiculous price to be paying to use the apps, really, would it?
Oh, how much is the app at the minute? Is it like 99p a month or something?
The AOS app that we've been using doesn't cost you anything. But I think if they were charging a fee to use those apps, I don't think they'd be particularly angry about it. Maybe not quite that high, but then you're also factoring in all this other content. So it looks like a pretty good price point. If it had been like $9.99 or $12.99, you'd start to think, maybe see how the shows are received first before jumping. $4.99 doesn't feel like a big investment.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the numbers, and when the next earnings report come out, or the one after the next one, we can see how well the figures are doing, can't we? And we can see how much of an impact it's had, not just on this, but more importantly, for the share price. So more on that in a bit. But yeah, do you think this could be a big money spinner? Reoccurring revenue, of course, is the golden chalice of
Well,
any new business now.
a lot of this stuff is content that anything they previously did in this realm they were not charging for. So it's an entirely new stream. It's not like they're repackaging previous money making products in this, really, apart from a miniature, which isn't that big of a deal, really. So they were already doing apps, they were already doing Warhammer TV, like painting tutorials, and
I think they'll put special stuff in there. I mean, Skippage, hey Skippage, he says it'd be cool if in the future they digitize the old rule books and put them in there as well, including the historicals like Cowboy Skirmish game. Might be a cool addition. Look, they're gonna need constant new content. So, and they've got 35 years of it, 40 years of it
yeah, they
potentially.
presumably they still have all the rights to all the old books and everything they've released. So you would
Yeah.
imagine that a lot of that stuff will pop up on there at some point. Maybe there'll be slightly edited versions. Because who knows whether there's things in the world nowadays.
It'd be cool
Some
if they
things
threw
don't
in
age
some.
well, some of the wording perhaps.
No, it'd be cool if they threw in some audio books as well, or like, what if they previewed the audio book, a new audio book, like, I don't know, Gotrek and Felix, and it was on the app for 2 weeks, and then it was gone. And if you wanted it, then you'd have to buy it. So it's kind of like the subscribers to Warhammer Plus get the sort of, premium content first, preview to
I
them.
wouldn't be at all surprised if audiobooks pop up at some point, but that is already an existing revenue stream for them. Whereas
Now,
none
while
of the stuff here currently is.
Yeah, Skippage also says you could serialize the books like a new chapter each week. That's kind of cool, man. I like that. It keeps you on the app. I mean, for me, what I like about it is if it expands their revenue streams, it means they can make bigger, better stuff for the future. We can have full length feature films. We can have, drama series potentially someday. And the funny thing is, Andy, for the last few years, I've been banging on at you saying that Warhammer has enough back catalog that it could be a UK Disney, but for fantasy, sort of a bit more dark rather than the Cinderella story. It's more, it's Britain's, um, could be Britain's Disney Plus, is what I'm saying. It could be massive. So we'll see, right? Or maybe I'm just in my own little echo chamber. This could all fall apart after a year. Who knows?
Well, at launch, we've got a few episodes of animation, access to the Warhammer Vault, which I believe is the last White Dwarf something, access to Warhammer 4 app, 2 episodes of Battle Report, which I'll be interested to see how that stacks up compared to all the other Battle Report out there. There is some very high quality, highly polished stuff. So if they're blowing all that out the water, it'd be very interesting to see how that affects other people who make a living doing that kind of thing, and whether they start maybe even going after people making battle reports with their product. That would be interesting.
Well, the thing is, the community's been leading the way, hasn't it? So all Warhammer have to do is mimic what the community have been doing for the last 10 years, but better quality,
2 episodes of
right?
Citadel Masterclass, so painting miniatures to a higher standard than they use. So it doesn't sound like a vast amount at launch, but new things added every Wednesday. So it's all very well having a nice launch with a free £10 voucher, promise of a free miniature at the end of the year, but if it doesn't hold you every week, if there isn't something new and interesting popping up, people aren't going to stick around, are they? They're not just going to keep
Well,
shoveling out the money unless
well,
it continues to provide.
the secret to that is, Andy, is you don't have too much stuff at launch. You make it nice and simple and slowly add things over time so people can see everything building up. Like, back to Disney, they didn't have much stuff. on theirs for ages, but their subscribership keeps going up because it's such a well-known name. And now the new stuff is like really they've just bought the rights to old stuff. So
I saw that Disney
you know,
Plus have The Walking Dead now.
yeah, exactly. Which wasn't made by Disney, was it? So
No.
we'll see. But yeah, I mean, like I said, their content's old to me now. You know, I might rejoin it if new Mandalorian series comes out, but um, you know, I'm excited by this. I'm willing to give it a go for a year.
Well, I think if we can keep up with watching some of the animation as well, make sure we're in communication and we're watching the same stuff, be able to talk about it on the show as well. Decide if
Yeah,
people are getting their
absolutely.
money's worth with this. So, we've got a couple of other things on the Warhammer community. So first of all, how do you feel about Warhammer collectible plushies?
What's a plushie?
It
Is it?
is like a soft, cuddly toy.
Yeah, it's cool. How big is it?
Let's see, does it actually tell you how big it is? A lot of questions they ask here. Is it machine washable? What's it filled with? Is it scented? What sort of voice will you use when you make it talk to your friends? Don't know if they actually tell you the size.
Yeah, I could get.
That's a mega size one there though. That's not the official regular one.
Can I get a Daughters of Kane one?
Well, you can get a Griffhound.
I don't want a Griffhound. I
There's a
don't want to cuddle.
Griffhound and a Nurgling. Those are
I
the
don't
only
want.
two so far.
I don't really want to cuddle a Nurgling at night. So yeah, no, I like it. It's cool, man. What one would you like to add to the toy
I
collection,
think
Andy?
the Nurgling looks cooler than the Griffhound, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Griffhound,
What about a
it's all
little?
right.
How about a little Ungor? Andy the Ungor.
Ungor would be a nice addition. What else? What would you like to see as a Warhammer plushie, everybody?
Let us know in the comments. The comments going wild tonight. Thanks for joining us, by the way. This is the Andy and Rem show, the greatest and one of the first Age of Sigmar shows ever
Pretty
on the
sure it was
whole
the
of
first one.
interwebs. On the interwebs, it was.
We were definitely the first because we had an AOS show before it was even announced. We were right on there on the rumours.
I'm just looking at the ticker on the bottom, Andy. I don't always notice it, but you've got some. It says Rem turns to filth on the bottom there.
Yes, we're going to get to that in a bit.
All right.
But
Okay.
yeah, in the headlines, Rem turns to filth. Remington, the casual, like aesthetic gamer, taking a bit of everything, making his army look nice. Has he turned to the dark side and become a filthy power gamer? We're going to find out later in the show. So while people are telling us what they would like to see as a plushie, personally, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the other demons. Maybe a kind of Zinchian one. That would be kind of cool. Like a horror, and then you could like turn it inside out and it turns into a different colour of horror.
Yeah, a flamer. Not a flamer. Flameling. I don't even know what they're called anymore. I can't remember. How about a little a grot? Night Goblin.
Skippage says
Nice.
squigs. Yeah, they seem obvious.
Oh,
You know, they
yes.
could really do squigs in the style of boglins,
Yeah.
like the rubber hand puppets, big mouths. Squigs would fit perfectly into that.
So where can I get a plushie? Is a plushie like a really well known thing, or is it like a Games Workshop invented thing?
Well-known thing. You can get cuddly toys of anything, can't you? Disney character, Star Wars.
So, who buys plushies? Is it not just children then?
I don't think it is entirely children, you know. I think there are adults that collect these.
Right. Is it one of those things that you should like not open and just leave in your attic for 30 years?
I don't know if they'll have that kind of collectible value. Probably
Right.
depends how popular the line is and how many of them they
Got you.
see. Time will tell. It's very early days in the Warhammer plushie department. Now, also on the Warhammer community, they rate Griffhounds or other Griffs all the Griff creatures, they give them a Griff rating. So we have a quick look at this and see if we agree. So, the Griffhounds that come with the new Knight Adjudicator out yet. I'm sure you're terrified of being shot with its magical bow that's probably going to roll a 1.
Is that another new model?
It's not out yet.
It actually looks really cool, but yeah, you had some Griffhounds, didn't you? You seem to put them on the battlefield?
I have one Griffhound. I did buy others, but I only half painted them because they were so annoying to paint, and then I sold them. So I got one more with the Dominion box, so I think I can tolerate just about painting more Griffhounds. Maybe I'll feel like doing 2 if I get this guy, but not a whole unit.
Okay.
So, first of all, they give the Griff charges on the chariot. They rate them 8 on the cuteness scale. I'm not sure I entirely agree with that. I don't think they're that cute. How do you feel about these two?
Why would you even put cuteness in a... Oh my god, why would you put a cuteness in like a top trump kind of thing for Warhammer?
Ferocity 10, I can buy that. They look quite ferocious. Little eyes there. Loyalty 9. How would you be able to test their loyalty? Because they're actually physically attached to this thing.
Yeah, they're chained up. So.
Unless you cut them loose and find out who they fight for, I don't think you can give them a high loyalty rating. Overall 10. I don't know. I don't think they're that cute.
This is
I'm probably going to get one.
Can you still get a lion chariot for the elves?
I haven't looked lately.
Mm.
Skibbage says a snotling plushie. Cedar says plushy Sigmar because he's so cuddly. Let's have a look at this chariot
cool
rule.
Model.
They've given us a bit of a chariot rule reveal here. After this unit makes a charge move, pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of this unit and roll a number of dice equal to the unmodified charge roll. For each 4+, that unit suffers 1 mortal. So you're probably going to do like 3 or 4 mortal charge.
Wow, so that's more. Okay. Equal 1 enemy. Yeah, it's
a few mortal wounds on the charge. Potentially a lot.
So it's better than the Cauldron of Blood then.
It's probably better than anyone that does D3 mortal wounds on the charge. Assuming that you're going to be rolling a decent number.
Stormcast on paper are always better than everything else.
But they also cost a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool model.
Griff charges.
So
these are the Vanguard Palador mount. And I don't own any of these. They only give them 7 on cuteness. They've kind of got the like old man hair, their horns at the side there. Ferocity 10 they've given them. Buy that. Loyalty 9. They're not kind of chained up in front. At least they actually have a rider on them who they could just like throw off if they felt like it. So loyalty makes sense. Overall 10 again. And their special, by the way, is that they're going to be able to disappear from the battlefield and appear anywhere they like. Kind of like your Sisters of... Not Sisters of... What's the unit called that disappeared? Shadow
Stalkers.
Yeah.
They're actually assassins with dark cloaks. These guys are in full armor, riding on, 4-legged kangaroos. So why should they get? But
they're so fast that they disappear into the ether and then back again. That's how it works with them.
It's like Stormcast keep failing, and they keep just inventing new units for them.
That is one way of looking at it, definitely. The Knight Adjudicators Griffhounds, they give cuteness 9. Ferocity only 6, even though they're leaping through the air as if they're about to eat something. That's a bit of a harsh one. Loyalty 10. Okay, I can understand that, if they're obeying him while not being chained or restrained in any way. Overall 10. What special rule do they have? An enemy reserve unit or summoned unit is set up on the battlefield for the first time within 12 inches of this unit. You can pick up to 3 friendly Stormcast Eternals units wholly within 12 inches of the unit to shoot. I like that. So you leave them guarding your shooty units, and then when some pesky enemy drops their units behind you, get to shoot them.
What? So they like literally turn around all those war machines in the blink of an eye and shoot?
Yes.
When it's not they're shooting them.
It's because the Griffhound's warning, making it sort of like,
Well, you know.
Griffhound pack, cuteness 9, frosty 7. I feel like they're just plucking these numbers out of thin air, to be honest. Loyalty 8. What's so not loyal about a Griffhound pack compared to all the others? Overall 10. After this unit is fought and all of its attacks have been resolved, it can retreat 6. Pretty cool. And then, of course, Griff Oberwald as well. The Blood Bowl player makes his way in there. He only gets 2 on cuteness. I don't know how he's going to take that. Frosty 8, Loyalty 2. Okay, I think he's like a bit of a paid mercenary player. Overall 10. Fair enough. And then Sleek the Griffhound. Cuteness 8, Frosty 7, Loyalty 11. That's just excessive. And then Archibald the Griffhound. Little comics. Cuteness 11. So everyone's just flying off the scale here. Frosty only 5, except when it comes to chewing up holy text. Loyalty 10. Overall 11. Special impossibly cute. Okay. These chariots are spicy. That's kind of similar to how mine would look. The actual chariot body there. The black and then the white surrounding emblem. Nice to see that. Okay, there you go. Griffhounds look. Okay, it's time for something financial, which means that it's time for... here it is.
Remington's Millions.
Remington's Millions. Okay, talk us through this, what we're looking at here. Chart, it's got numbers on it, it's got lines.
Yeah. Okay, it's Games Workshop share price. It briefly touched the all-time high today at £120 per share of Games Workshop stock. So why do you think it almost reached an all-time high today, Andy?
I would suggest that people are excited about the launch of Warhammer Plus and they think it's going to be a big cash revenue injection.
So do you think this is going to be a buy the news situation or a sell the news and buy the hype?
Interesting. What do you think?
Right.
As the financial expert on the show.
Well, there might be a little bit of a sell-off tomorrow, but it's as a stock, it's not that well known. It's not that big a stock amongst Wall Street community. They don't really know about it, or they, it's a very niche thing. So I'm hoping there's not too many people around that would want to sell out. But then if it's hit an all-time high, usually people have, automated things that sell their stock when it hits such numbers. But analysts recently have been targeting the 125, the 120, 125 price as the target price. So that could be one reason why it slightly dipped after hitting the all-time high. But you know what Remington did today, Andy? I thought,
sell?
What? I've been rolling around these last few months with my 0.1 share of Games Workshop. No, I bought 9 shares. Yes. I sold some shares in that I'd made quite a decent profit on, and I then bought back into Games Workshop. So
you bought in during the all-time high?
No, I bought in at 117, but because I had 0.1 share, actually day before, was it Friday, I bought a little bit more as well. So anyway, I had a bit of a margin of safety because my previous average was at £90 a share or something. So I was something like 30% up already. So yeah, but basically I'm rolling around the current price of it now. So I'm going to be, there's going to be red days, there's going to be green days from now on. At least for the next few months, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, their subscription and the hobby will keep expanding, and so will the share price. But we'll see. But I'm in it for real now.
Would you like to play the
I'm
all-time
not
high
just
song?
on an all-time high. We're making a Warhammer with Remington steel. What can go wrong?
Okay, next. Rumor engine. What the hell is that? To me, it's some spikes. So I was first thinking, well, it looks like some kind of savage orc. But then somebody, some fiendish person on the internet, drew the other half of this symbol, and it very much looks like the corn logo. What do you think? Do you think we could be seeing some more corn in the future?
Well, we could do with some more savage orcery, couldn't we? But I'm stumped. Do you know how? Do you know how I said there's like more? I mean, you said it. There's more Stormcast models than anything else.
Yes.
When you go onto Games Workshop site under Age of Sigmar and you go Forces of Order and you see Stormcast Eternals, there's something like 62 different models for sale.
Some of those can be made into different. Yes.
Sure, but then when you see Cities of Sigmar, it's at 67. So technically,
Cities of Sigmar is just a vast amalgamation, though.
yeah, it is, but it is one faction. So technically speaking, they don't have more models than any other faction yet. But it's only a matter of time, isn't it? Because they don't seem to bring out any new Cities of Sigmar models.
Shall we
And
look
they
at
are
some
quite.
dwarves?
Yeah, go on. I've just totally ignored this rumor engine. I've no idea what it is.
We'll find out. Here we have some very old school looking dwarves, and I am particularly partial to the two slayers in the middle, actually. They're extreme.
Wow,
The slayer on the right, actually, I'd like that one very much. But
they
this
look
is from,
really old school, don't they?
yes, this is from Macrocosm, and already blitzed through the goal. There's a £200 goal, so just enough to get them much, but it's already at 1,332 with 49 backers, 11 days to go.
Wow.
So let's see.
Amazing. How long will it take? Well, how long do you predict it will take before they'll get made and sent?
Well, we'll find out when we get to the bottom. So there's a Slayer. There's another Slayer. Vampire Hunter. Miner. Miner is pretty cool as well. So, like that. One of them, all four. Or if you were one of the early birds, got them for slightly lower, but I'm pretty sure those have gone. Got various other add on. Vampire. Goblin Vampire, might I add. Goblin Werewolf. Goblin Ghoul. Dwarven White King. So it's a lot of undead alternative races that you don't see a lot of. I do have some of the models from this. I've got some of the dead dwarves.
Oh.
Nice bone giant there, which is resin. Stone golem. Various dead goblins. Let's see when it predicts ready to go. Is there any on that? You. Nope, there isn't one yet. So somebody should ask when this is likely to be out, but it's only a small batch, isn't it? It's only a few dwarves, so I can't imagine it would take long to create this. So what do you think of these models?
Yeah, I like them, man.
Are you thinking of adding any of these to your collection of dwarves? Do you even have any dwarves left, or have you sold them all?
I sold all my Marauder dwarves 2 years ago when I was trying to raise some much needed cash at the time. So I do regret it sometimes, but it is what it is. Especially when a week later, I saw all my dwarves being put on eBay for sale by the person who bought them from me.
Individually.
No, they're taking out some of the sort of collectible ones, like the metal flame cannon, um, and the goblobber, and then put the rest of the army. So I was a bit disappointed because I put a lot of love into that army, but it is what it is. And
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah, I do
difficult.
have.
You can't really have control over what happens when someone buys it, unfortunately. As much as you'd like to only sell it to someone who's actually going to get some use out of it and keep it together as one lot and use it on the table, it's very
Yeah,
tricky to control that, sadly.
but the fact was they're all on square bases, and I wasn't playing much of the game, and they'd been sitting in a box for a few years, and I had tons of other models and other projects I wanted to do. So sometimes to start something new, you need to get rid of something old. So that's what I did, and I made good use of of the money I raised for it. So I've got no regrets, but I've got all of the new dwarven models, new as in, the plastic ones from the last 10 years.
I'm very tempted to get this Slayer right here.
What, just on its own?
Yes.
Are you gonna start calling him Gotrek on the battlefield now?
I certainly could. Okay, so shall we go to this then? Because we're wanting to discuss Remington filth, aren't we? So,
Yeah.
as you know, Remington, normally renowned for being very, very casual, laid back kind of player, brings a little sprinkling of everything into his army, makes it look nice, bit of potpourri on the base to assault your senses. But other than that, very sportsmanlike. However, has all that changed with the purchase of this realm roaming, short statured ginger fellow?
So on Friday, I went to my local model shop and I was thinking, what do I need to enhance my Daughters of Kane army? And they didn't have a Marathi model in there. And I thought, well, what else can they align with? I mean, I could get a Gargant. So I thought, all right, well, I'll have a look. See, it might even get a Gargant. It might be fun. And they didn't have any in stock. And then as I was shopping, I was listening to the Honest Wargamer, and he was having a discussion on his channel about Gotrek and how amazing he is on the battlefield, and that he could align with any order army. And then they went on to, it's a really good show actually. It was only like 15 minutes, and yeah, it got straight to it. And basically, he's amazing. And he will complement my army, but not just my Daughters of Kane. I can use him in my Dwarven army. I can use him in my Sigmar army. So I saw it there, and it was just like 20% off the retail price. I thought, okay, let's do it. I love my dwarves, so let's get this guy on the table. And I don't need to have a big monster anymore. Why not just get a monster killer? So next time Andy brings his Gargant or his Star Drake, I now have a yin to your yang.
I now have something I need to actually avoid in our army.
And multiple mortal wounds against him are kind of, he laps them up, so it could be really cool. And nothing in my army has really good saving throws, so this guy, Gotrek I think he's got a 4 up, and then he's got some sort of ward save.
Definitely very survivable, and he can kill things pretty easily. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere, some information about him being able to one-shot Gargant or something with a billion wounds. So I don't know how he does it. I haven't looked at his rules. I just know that he's a beast, but he's quite slow. You have to plan carefully where you're going to put it. And with some of the rules, because obviously I've been watching a lot of the Age of Sigmar shows, so you have opportunities to get extra moves with him. For example, if an enemy moves near him, you can take that opportunity to say, well, you know what, I'm going to use a command point and redeploy Gotrek. And then you can move a d6. You can get closer to the enemy. So sneaky things like that.
Well, I'm looking at his rules here, and he's only got movement 4, so that's one weakness there. Got bravery 10, 6 attacks, 3 to hit, 3 to wound, -2 rend, 3 damage. And if you didn't think that was bad, all right. Oh wow. Unstoppable battle fury. Once Gotrek has started a fight, he continues to do so with a relentless fury that abates only when all his enemies lie slain. At the end of the combat phase, if this model, Gotrek, is within 3 inch of an enemy unit, he can fight again. With 6 attacks, freeze and freeze, 3 damage, -2 rend.
And that's without
Um,
even like using the hero finest hour ability on him, or like an all-out attack and ability.
Correct. And every time he gets a wound or mortal wound, he gets a 3-up save against that as well.
How many wounds?
Because
Have?
he's only got eight wounds.
That's actually a good amount though, because once you get to 10 and up, then I think you start running some negative rules, like you can't benefit from cover. And
Yeah. You can re-roll hit and wound rolls for attack made by this model. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Let me just say that again. So 6 attacks, 3 to hit, 3 to wound. Because of King Blackhammer's Master Rune, which he's holding there aloft, you can re-roll hit and wound rolls for attacks made by this model. In addition, if the unmodified hit roll for an attack, if you roll a 6 to hit, okay, then that attack inflicts d6 mortal wounds on the target, in addition to any normal damage. So I'm rolling 6 dice, and if any of them are 6s, they inflict d6 mortal wounds. So let's say, I roll 1 6, and then I roll an average of 3 or 4. That's 4 mortal wounds just from that one attack. And I mean, it's pretty incredible. He's an utter beast.
so this is a guy you would want to be using, like if you're going first and you want him to get nearest the enemy, you might want to use the command point for the ability that lets you guarantee that you're going to run 6.
You think it'll be a thing is it I don't think it matters that Gotrek, you have to get Gotrek charging in. You just need to get him, either someone fighting you or you fighting him, right?
Yes.
I mean, is he something you're going to try and avoid on the battlefield?
Yes. The only thing I can even think of would be shooting at him. At least he can't fight you twice at that point, have any shooting attacks. So if you can shoot him at long range and get him really wounded, and then maybe charge him and manage to strike first with something that does a lot of damage, then maybe take him out. But otherwise, you're just going to avoid him, aren't you? Or try to. But if he's between 2 objectives, you might not have a choice.
And you'll be trying to put healing spells or healing abilities on him, wouldn't you? In the, what's it called? The heroic recovery.
Yeah, you definitely want to be. He's definitely someone you would want to be playing your heroic abilities and command point.
Yeah. So yeah, that could be quite exciting. I think I can't remember how many points he comes in at, but I'm thinking it is a lot. It's like 400 or 500 points. So he kind of replaces a monster or a gargant in your army, and it's just a nice option to have for me. I think be fun. What do you think, Andy?
I think it's going to be interesting, and we haven't had like a small model that's like a major superstar yet, have we? Just something that's not a massive monster but can still completely decimate an army.
Well, Yendrasta is pretty good.
Not to this level though.
Not not quite. We'll see. It could be great.
Certainly
I mean,
will.
remember, if you put him against a gargant, he's still as many wounds as he can do. He's still got to get 35.
Brad says he can only take 1 damage from each attack that gets through, which means that you want to be attacking him with something that has lots of attacks that do 1 damage. Otherwise, the extra damage is just being wasted. So
right. So
what has a lot of attacks?
Yeah.
So something like a Gargant or one of those other attacks where it's based on the number of models around. If you fight something else and him at the same time, that would be good because you can pile up numbers of attacks.
Yeah, I
Them
mean,
all at him.
all your Gargant damage is like multiple damage, isn't it? Right? When you jump up and
Yes.
down and swing with
So
club and
a lot of that's going to be wasted. You need things that
yeah,
just have a ton of low damage attacks, preferably shooting,
yeah,
so you don't have to fight him. So it's going to be interesting once you get him out on the table. And it also allows you to fill up quite a hefty number of points and fill out your army a bit, so you can play higher points levels.
yeah. Exactly. I could get get 2,000 points in plus. I think he's going to be. You're going to be worried about him, and the more you're worried about him, the less worried you are about my other stuff. So, it'd only be natural for you to direct all your shooting attacks at Gotrek and not my helpless witch elves.
Now, you've been doing some painting. Well, so what are we
I
looking
have.
at here? These look a bit evil.
Yeah, they look really good, don't they? It's like, do you know, like pop videos? Do you notice how people look so good on pop videos? The reason why is because each shot only lasts for like 2 or 3 seconds, right? So when you like just flash at these look amazing. But if you zoom in really close, you can see how hodgepodge my painting is. But I'm like a Monet or a Gauguin with my painting. I don't like. It's not all really clean, you know, kind of arty, oily. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? But from a little distance, yeah, I've got to sort out. Do you know what? This is really good. It really helps you become a better painter. Photograph your paint jobs and blow them up. I mean, that face there looks terrible. It looks
But
like it's sort of just
no
melting.
one would ever see it like this, though. No one has eyesight as good as a camera.
No, but I like it. It's sort of like oily, an oil painting, isn't it? But they look cool from um,
From a gaming distance,
yeah.
that's what's
Do you
important,
know what?
really.
I think I need to tidy.
And
I need glasses,
I think if you do the
Andy.
whole army like that, that is absolutely fine.
Yeah, they look cool. Honestly, they look really cool, and I think I want them to look a bit slimy, a bit sloppy, a bit from the marshes. That's what they are. So, I really enjoyed painting these. Actually, they were pretty easy to paint. I've painted one of the big crossbow guys, the cruel boy guys. I've got to paint 2 more of those, and then like I don't know, 10 more of the hobgrots, and then yeah, I'm getting through them. I think I'm going to need another month or two before I painted the cruel boys that you get in Dominion. But
Hopefully, around
yeah,
the same time I've finished off the rest of the Stormcast. But do I have the motivation to paint them before I get a decent-sized Caradron Overlord's army done? I've already started assembling the gun hauler,
nice,
so that
nice,
army will be coming along. I'm painting that at the same time as I'm going to be working on all my Bad Squiddo L Soviets.
nice. Andy, you should get the Underworlds box for the Caradron Overlords. They could be a nice little unit on their own. They'll have
And
their own little
the
rules.
Overlords are, of course, one of the armies that lack different types of units. Because they're not Stormcast, and they're not just a mash together of all the old factions. So that means, of course, that they've been neglected, like the Fire Slayers, Deepkin, the other armies that got one barrage of releases, barely had anything.
Yeah, for sure,
But
man.
what are we looking at here? Because it looks like you've added something else, the Daughters of Kane.
Yes, I've added. Well, while I was in the shop, I thought I want to get an iron scale Medusa. Do I get a Medusa or do I get another battle box or do I get some more snakes? I was tempted to get more snakes, but I knew I've got too much to paint already. So I thought I'd get the iron scale because she's got some tasty rules, Andy. She's got a shooting attack, and she's decent in combat, and she's got a command ability that makes all the other snakes be able to run, shoot, and charge at the same time.
Are you going to be able to remember all those tasty rules?
I hope so. I hope so. Right. So yeah, it should be an interesting option. I think. I mean, most of the Daughters of Kane more recent battle reports that you see, they're almost always snake-heavy armies, and there's a reason for that because they're really good. They're really, really good at the minute, so I'm tempted to get some more snakes because I don't think you've ever taken all my snakes off the table yet, have you?
They are
In
pretty
any
difficult to shift, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're one of
I
your
think
few units where one has multiple wounds for a start.
Yeah. Yeah. They got two wounds and they've got a great shooting attack. Just the addition of one extra shot has made all the difference to these because in the other rules they only had one shot. But yeah, pretty potent. Pretty they as the shooty snakes seem to be consistent in taking wounds off. So if I got 5 more, I wasn't sure whether to get the fighty ones or the shooty ones, but I've got an iron scale now, so I've got every kind of hero now, apart from Marathi in my
So,
Daughters of
what
Kane
do you
army.
need to finish off this army? I assume you want Marathi, obviously. You probably want some more of the snake lead at some point. What else would you want in this army to put it away in the cabinet and call it complete? So you wouldn't need to buy anything else for future games. What else do you think?
Possibly 10 more Sisters of Slaughter, possibly more. But I think the new rules don't favor big units anymore, you know. You know, groups of 10, maximum 20 seem fine now. When it used to be like, you want 20 or 30 swordsmen or 20 witches, 30 witches. Now you don't need that many because they have so many attacks. So, yeah, I think a few more snakes. I was tempted to get the big, what's it called? The box where it's loads of it's Daughters of Kane against the Slanesh. Oh, mine escapes me. You
What's it
know
called?
that
Yeah,
box set?
what's that called? Got,
Oh,
it's got a catchy name as
Shadows
well.
and Pain. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Shadows and Pain. Yeah, I nearly got Shadows and Pain. I thought, oh, I don't want that. Don't really want the Slaneshi stuff. But having said that, I do like Slanesh mortals. I do love the models. So at some point, I might have to get those. They could be fun. But yeah, I think I'm about there with this with Daughters of Kane. Just a few more snakes, then we're good.
Excellent.
I don't like to. I don't want an army just full of the good stuff. I do like to having a bit of different things.
My
I
Stormcast
do like
army
that.
is a little bit of everything, really. Apart from that period
Yeah,
where they've released a lot of the fur covered Stormcast,
yeah.
like the animal cloaks.
Vanguard.
Yeah, I didn't go too much into that era of Stormcast. Got
No, why
got
not?
little bits. I think I just wasn't that interested in them at the time as an army, but I've
Yeah,
continued adding more, obviously, over time. Got plenty of heroes and units, so I could just stop and never buy any more Stormcast ever again, and the army would be fine. It wouldn't have any of the new
yeah.
stuff though. So what do I want to add to it? I just want to add anything that's cool, basically. Something has to come along and be cooler than what I already have. So things like the chariots and the new
Dragons.
dragons, possibly
Yeah.
dragon riders. Any of that stuff theoretically could slot into my collection because it's cooler than some of the things I already have.
Now, Andy, do you ever see any battle reports where it's Stormcast against Stormcast?
I haven't seen one, but it would be interesting.
I think it's going to come. It's going to come down the pipe at some point. Either they're going to be like evil or tainted Stormcast because they're making so many now that at some point you're going to get people that are going to have to just play against each other,
Well,
right?
if Stormcast in the story are so dominant and constantly fighting off all their enemies so easily, then eventually they would start competing for territory, surely, between the different
Yeah.
storm.
Or Stormcast that have died so many times they lose all humanity and just become automatons. So you could get a whole faction that are literally just automaton Stormcast that are being like led by someone with truly evil intentions.
Someone
Could that work?
siphoning their souls successfully and using them for evil purposes rather than just trying to and being foiled.
Yeah. Or the Stormcast have a disagreement. So it's not just like good or evil, there's some sort of disagreement in the heavens. And it turns into some kind of war. I mean, it's 40k all over again, isn't it? It's
It is really, isn't it?
or it's
Because
heresy.
Space Marines versus Space Marines, because all the other enemies are so feeble they have to start fighting each other. But what about a faction of Stormcast who kind of turn their backs on Sigmar? Because they don't believe that they deserve so many chances at life. So they
Oh,
cut themselves off and swear some kind of blood oath so that this death will be their last.
they're just sick of dying. They just want to be at peace,
Could be.
right?
Or they think it's somehow blasphemous for them to keep coming back.
I like it, man.
There's a lot of ways they could go. Or they could just make the other factions interesting and put attention on them and release models for them, instead of just adding to the Stormcast over and over. That would be
Well,
a
look,
crazy novelty, wouldn't it?
they're bringing out a new book, ain't they? So let's draw a line under it with this, with like, I don't know, what is it, the 4th or 5th Stormcast book? Let's all right,
Yes.
good. Let's draw a line under there for a couple of years now, and let's concentrate on other stuff.
Waiting for that book. It shouldn't be too much longer for the Stormcast and the Auric Warclans books. Be within the next few weeks.
So the War Clans, does that encapsulate the Savage Orcs?
As far as I
And the
know,
cruel- and the cruel
it would have
boys.
all of the orcs in there. So yes.
Okay. Cool, man. I might be interested in that.
So we've got one more picture to look at. This is a giant that was posted in the Discord server, which everyone should have joined, by the way. This was posted in there by Dar. I don't know where this model's from. Maybe someone will tell us in the chat or in the comments. But that is quite a spicy picture, isn't it?
Oh wow. Yeah, it's good. It's got a lot of character into it. Where's that from then? What company is that?
Someone will surely
seen
let us
that
know.
before.
I like the metal on, what's it called when it, bit of armor that covers the whole forearm, like bracer.
Bracer. Yeah, I think so. Mears Miniatures, Brad says. Hey, Brad. Mears Miniatures, they're great, man. So, I mean, I went through a phase of like obsessively looking through their website because some of their models were amazing, but I couldn't get my head around their lore so much. But some of their models were so good.
I just noticed that
But
it has
I'm not
hooves as well.
right. Yeah, I've not seen them in real life, so to speak. I've only seen pictures. Good to see them painted.
That's everything we've got to look at this week. And it was a bit of a late start, as you know, so we might have to wrap this. But before we do, Remington, are you going to be straight on board that Warhammer Plus train tomorrow, as soon as it launches?
So, how does it work? Tomorrow, I can subscribe and watch stuff.
Yes, immediately you'll have access to launch material, assuming that they don't crash the servers because there's so many people waiting to do it. Which seems like they should have had the app, the Warhammer Plus app, or like the website up already, so people could like get it all ready, and then they wouldn't have so many people swarming onto it on launch day. I think. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm surprised, Andy, they didn't hire you for that. That, just an example of the foresight you can offer to a multi-billion-pound company.
Well, I predict there will be crashes because it'll be so overloaded. My prediction.
Yeah, they use streaming services, don't they? Like Amazon Web Services or companies like Fastly or Cloudflare to do that. It's interesting. Actually, I was interested because me, I like to look into companies and stocks and stuff, and I was wondering how come stuff like Amazon Prime or Netflix doesn't do that. And what it is, they've got these companies like Fastly. They've got these hubs in different places around the world that mimic the Netflix site. So, say Netflix, for example, um, it's hosted in California. Well, what happens? Well, if you're watching in Africa, an African hub will mimic everything that the Californian one is doing and then transmit that. So if you're in Africa, you're watching the African clone, if you like. So that's how you're able to spread it across the world and not overload one server, so to speak.
I could
Does that
certainly
even make
see.
sense?
I could see the streaming side of it not crashing because of apps, but like
Yeah.
if there's a home page that you have to go onto to sign up, I could see that being bombarded and overwhelmed.
Well, that's amazing if that happens. You imagine the headlines: Warhammer app crashes on launch because of so many downloads. Or it could be spun in a negative way, couldn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, like they hadn't foreseen the demand and it wasn't powerful enough, so it was poor planning on their part.
But do you think there is demand for this, or do you think people are going to see it as just a money grab? What do you
I think
think? Or do you think people?
there are a lot, particularly 40k fans out there, who are
Yeah.
probably itching for this kind of content. So I think, especially at launch, it's going to go. Whether it sustains that depends.
Ages.
I think it is going to do very, very well.
Of all ages, Andy.
Yes. I think it'll be more popular probably with not necessarily kids, but the younger sort of people that are obviously into all this stuff. There are going to be some old fans who don't necessarily go in for all the streaming things. There's slightly
Yeah, well,
technologically illiterate people out there.
yeah, but I mean, for the Gen Z, is it? I'm Gen X. So what's Gen Z? I can't remember what Gen Z is, or is it Gen Y? Well, the ones after the millennials basically were like born with iPads in their hands, weren't they? So
Pretty much.
it sort of makes sense that the hobby's going that way now, right? You can access everything that
Yeah,
way.
when I was a small child, the coolest thing I could get my hands on was a cassette recorder. Like, I could record myself on a cassette. That was the most amazing thing ever when I was like 6.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Kids
Me
these
too.
days.
I had a double cassette recorder, so I could tape to tape. I could record stuff off the radio and then make a copy. Or as we used to record computer games, pirate them basically. So what amongst our mates, we had ZX Spectrum. I had a Spectrum Plus. Remember that 48K, 48 kilobytes. Can you imagine the processing power? Amazing. Yeah, so you would buy a game that would cost you like, I don't know, 10, 15 pounds, and then you'd make a couple of copies, and then your friends would have those, and they'd make copies of the game they got. That's how it was done.
Kids these
Now you
days,
can't.
eh?
Yeah.
They've got it too easy.
Now they can just download it off Steam and just wait for a sale.
You
It's
can
easy,
download
isn't it?
whatever you want. You can look up any piece of information you want without having to get encyclopedias.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. That is like,
Just think of all those
why?
poor door-to-door encyclopedia salesmen from the 90s
I mean,
and before.
just stuff like university and college, like people have access to instant information.
You have
Like,
access to
why isn't
every piece of information ever in the history of the world.
at your fingertips from anywhere, right?
Yes.
So we had to like travel to a library, and you go into the library, and someone else has took the book out, so now you can't look up the information you need, and that's it. Tough. So now you'd think people should be way more intelligent, way more knowledgeable because they have access to knowledge. There you are. Is it true? I don't know. Well, exams should be
Remains to be
harder now.
seen.
Yeah.
So, Warhammer Plus. Gonna dig into it tomorrow, analyse it, but don't forget, the more exciting news is that tomorrow there's an Age of Sigmar battle report at 11 AM on the channel, and then in the afternoon, I'm going to be doing a Kings of War battle report as well. It's going to be a battle report Wednesday, 2 battle reports, and the launch of Warhammer Plus on that day. Could you possibly ask for more, Wargamer? I don't think so.
Oh, one last thing. If you're going to subscribe, Andy, which model do you want? Because you do get a free model. Which one is the one you're going to want?
Well, neither of them are particularly appealing to me. One of them being a 40k model, which I'm hugely into, but maybe I will be after watching all the information. And the other one is an Auric, who obviously isn't that appealing to me either, but that would be something a bit more up your street, wouldn't it? The Iron Jaw hero.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I think the assassin looks really, really cool, but the one that I'd actually use would be the Auric. Yeah.
Okay, so before we wrap this one up, there's just enough time for everyone to sit back and relax, because it's time for in a very non-relaxed way. Just messed up the intro there. Gently muted.
Andy's Deep Bar.
Deep breaths, everybody. You are seated. VIP section, you have permission to relax all parts of your body. So just deep state of relaxation. If you are not in the VIP section, if you don't pledge Patreon channel, you people, you can relax most of your body, but maybe leave a couple of fingers unrelaxed and tense, just to let you know that there is a higher level that can be attained through financial generosity.
This is my favourite section, Annie, so I'm going to mute my mic and take my headphones off just so I can hear your soothing tones without my headphones.
So Remington joining in as well, sitting back, relaxing in the bath. So I want you to start your feet. Relax. Let all feeling out of them. Completely relaxed, working up your legs towards the torso, arms as well, the neck, shoulders, especially important, an area that carries a lot of tension, especially in this world we live in. A lot of people hunched over their keyboards, perhaps. Those of you who are keyboard hunchers, shoulders nice and loose. Then relax those fingers, stretch them out a bit, and then, except for those of you that don't pledge to the Patreon, keep a couple of fingers really tense, so you know, a bit more relaxation could aspire to. Then you look around the edge of the deep bath in the VIP section, served delicious beverages, little umbrellas poking. The following people seated there in this paradise. We have Roshi, Tim, John, Guy, Graham, Cedar, Simon, Nippleless, Brad. All of them seated there enjoying their beverages, being served tasty morsels, plates of snacks brought over at regular intervals, so they're never too full. They always want a little bit more, but it's always right on hand. So their needs are being regularly met. And the reason those people are so well looked after, while the rest of you are only in semi-relaxation, pledged, founded this channel, as you know, is essentially a rubber duck in the deep bath, staying above these turbulent, bubbly waters, difficult times. This channel, one constant, keeping its head above the water, for it to remain that way, pledge generously. That as you're in this deep state of relaxation, you see bubbles shooting up through. One of them contains Discord, inspired to join Discord server. Another bubble up encourages you to follow me on Twitter. Another, join the Andy. Maybe to follow both of us on Instagram, perhaps. Maybe even subscribe to Remington Steel Warhammer. That would be wild, wouldn't it? Wait for the episode of Remington's Pillow Talk Q&A, which is rumoured to be here any time now. Wouldn't that be relaxing? You could just be lying there in your bed on your own pillow, listening to Remington answer questions from his pillow. That's the kind of relaxation you want in your life when you're not in the deep bath. You can't stay in for too long after. So I think it's time for us to get out of the bath. There we go. Everybody's out. Back in the room. Remington, may come back.
Hello.
Hello.
That was amazing, Andy. But you sure that bubble in the bath wasn't someone doing a little trump rather than...
I'm quite sure, because that kind of thing would be frowned upon in the deep bath. Surely, especially none of the VIP members would be doing. They're all top-notch human beings, as demonstrated by their financial backing of this channel.
How many have joined the Discord so far? How big is this community, Andy?
The Discord server, you could probably have a look and see how many are in there.
As many people as watch the show. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
There are more people actually in the Discord server, but they're obviously not online at all times. But quite a few people have joined, and we're hoping to get the discussion going in there. And there is actually a secret section of the Discord for patrons only that is a hub of activity as well, with some behind-the-scenes extras. Not only do you get that for pledging, you also get access to all the music that's used on this channel, provided by Mr. Remington there.
Nice, nice. I've just been looking at my views, Andy, and did you know I've put up like 6 videos in the last couple of months? 5 videos. And one of them was, there's a few battle reports up there, but one of them's had 238 views.
Not bad.
And,
not to be sniffed at.
No, it's not bad, is it? Pretty cool.
So everyone, don't forget to like the video, by the way. How could you forget that anyway?
Yeah.
Get to subscribe if you haven't.
This time next week, we'll have had another battle report up, and we'll be able to review Warhammer Plus and let you guys know if it's worth subscribing to.
Yes, and also breaking news: I've been rejigging the "what the hell is that" idea, because it was a bit too difficult in its previous format. So what we're actually going to do, starting next week, we're going to reintroduce it to the show in a brand new style. So there's guaranteed to be a winner every week. But it's not going to be too easy, though. How can I promise that? You'll have to wait and see. But I have got something up my sleeve. So,
are you going to draw stuff by hand?
I'm not, but we could introduce that as a segment as well. People would be interested in seeing that. So, don't forget to leave your comments, like, subscribe, send all your money to me so I can buy Stormcast Dragons to crush Remington and Gotrek. And that's about it. Let's bring up the episode thumbnail. There you go. Are you going to buy one of those plushies, Mr. Remington?
No.
On that note, a couple of things remain to be said. First of all, what you seek is seeking you.
Wow.
I don't know if that line's catching on. A few people seem to like it.
They like it. I like it.
Someone just unliked the video. What a monster.
Well, that's so they can like it again.
That could be. Okay, so let me know, folks. Is that outro line going to catch on, or shall I just stick to the old classic, good night out there? Whatever you...
It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer Fantasy